The alarm on my phone blares at exactly 5:45 a.m., and for a moment, I forget why I set it so early in the first place. I'm halfway through hitting snooze when I remember. Physical training at the academy starts at 7 o'clock sharp. If I miss another morning session, I can pretty much kiss my hopes of joining the LAPD goodbye. My name's Adam. I'm 23 years old, and if life had gone according to the plan I drew up in high school, I'd already be a fully sworn officer by now. But life has a way of veering off track, especially when you lose your parents at 18. They died in a car crash on Highway 101, 5 years ago, rear-ended by a drunk driver in the middle of the night. My twin sister, April, and our younger brother, Kevin, were only teenagers then. We were left behind to figure out life on our own. I tried to be strong for both of them, but we drifted apart over time. We each coped in our own ways. Now I'm here, in a cramped apartment in Glendale, determined to piece my life together. April is about 60 miles south, in the city of Lakewood, working 2 jobs. Kevin is up near Westwood, finishing his last year of high school. I promised myself I'd keep an eye on them. I'm trying. Some days I'm doing better than others. I sit up and rub my eyes. But something about the quality of silence this morning sets me on edge. Maybe it's just nerves about the academy. Maybe it's something else. I toss the phone on the bed, slip into running shorts, then start water for coffee. The routine is comforting. I have no idea how fast all that normalcy will unravel. By 6:25, I'm out the door, coffee thermos in one hand, keys in the other. As I make my way to my beat-up Civic, I notice my neighbor, Mrs. Castenda, stepping onto her small patio. She looks worried, glancing up at the sky, then at her phone. "Morning," I say, giving her a little wave. She just nods back. "Have you? Did you see the news?" I pause, coffee halfway to my lips. "Not yet. Something going on. I'm not sure," she says. "I just saw some kind of weird emergency bulletin about an invasive organism. Could be a hoax, I suppose." I shrug. "I'll check it on my way. Stay safe." She goes back inside, her door clicking shut in a hurry. At the time, I think it might be about some invasive pest in the city, like the West Nile scare from years ago, or those random stink bug invasions. Strange, but not the end of the world. Certainly nothing that would derail my morning. So I hop in my Civic, turn on the radio, and find only static where the local news station should be. I flick through channels, more static, until an automated voice breaks through on AM 530, emergency broadcast. "Please stand by for official instructions." Emergency broadcast. "Please stand by for official instructions." My skin prickles. We don't get these alerts often. The last time I heard one was for an earthquake advisory, and even then it was short. This repeats in an unsteady loop, glitching slightly. I decide to flip it off. No use listening to the same phrase on repeat. Probably a technical error, I tell myself. The city's always messing up some part of the infrastructure, right? The drive to the academy takes about 20 minutes. Traffic is light for Glendale standards, but it's also early. My phone pings every so often with text from people in my class. First, Ben writes, "Did you see this weird alert? Something about not leaving your house." And then Carla writes, "I got a push notification that said emergency alert. Do not leave your homes. Is that for real?" I'm already halfway to the academy. I frown at the screen at a red light. There's definitely something going on, but no clarity. My phone's display flickers, then brightens with a new message, this time from an unknown number. "Emergency alert. Do not leave your homes. Stay inside. Wait for official instructions." This is not a test. The text is in all caps. I've never seen anything quite like it. It doesn't say why we need to stay inside. Just that we do. My heart rate kicks up, and I turn the radio back on, hoping for an official statement. Then faintly I hear a female voice. The spread is rapid, keeps mutating, advised to remain indoors. It cuts out. The light turns green, and the car behind me taps its horn. Shaking it off, I push on the gas. In 15 minutes, I'll be at the academy. I can figure out what's happening once I'm there. There'll be official channels, a command structure. Someone will know more than me. Dude, this is bananas. Ben corners me the moment I walk into the locker room. He's already geared up in his PT clothes, running shoes laced. They literally told everyone to stay indoors, but we're all still here. I open my locker, toss my backpack in. Yeah, I saw the alert. Could be some mass glitch. Could be weather-related. Could be the city overreacting to a threat like the virus scare a few years ago. My words sound hollow, even to me. You saw anything else? Like an official statement, he shakes his head, leaning on the metal lockers with worry etched in his face. Just that broadcast. I'm about to respond when the overhead speakers crackle. Our lead instructor, Captain Soto, telling all cadets to assemble in the main training room ASAP. Normally PT is out on the field, but we're being told to gather inside. That's something new. Ben and I exchange glances and hurry to the main hall. Along the way, we see other cadets, all with phones in hand, worried expressions. We file in and stand at attention. Captain Soto stands on a small platform at the front, her posture stiff, arms crossed behind her back. I know you've all seen the alerts, she begins, voice echoing in the hush. There's an ongoing situation in Los Angeles County, as well as surrounding counties. We don't have complete details yet, but it's serious enough for a county-wide order to shelter in place. Our protocols say that, as first responder trainees, we remain in contact with the department. That means we're on standby here until we know more. Whispers ripple through the room. Captain, are we safe here? Someone asks. Soto doesn't hesitate. Yes, the academy has an emergency bunker below ground. If we need it, we'll use it. Until then, no one leaves. This isn't a request. It's an order. My throat tightens. I think about my sister, April, in Lakewood. About Kevin, halfway across the city. I check my phone for new texts. Nothing from either of them yet. Maybe they're asleep. Maybe they're ignoring their phones. Or maybe they're in trouble. My heartbeat thumps in my ears. I step away from the crowd, pulling out my phone, searching for any update from my siblings. But still nothing. My anxiety spirals. I should be able to reach them. By now, April would be awake, since she usually has to leave her apartment by 7:30 to catch the bus. And Kevin starts school at 8 o'clock. Maybe classes were canceled. Maybe they saw the alert. Ben appears at my side. You thinking about your sister and brother? I nod, jaw clenched. I can't just sit here. He nods, understanding. He knows me well enough to see the storm in my eyes. Dude, we have orders to stay put. Yeah, I know. I run a hand through my hair. But the official instructions basically say everyone should be at home with their families. I'm not at home. My siblings aren't here. If there's something out there that can hurt them, I need to go. Ben's face goes grim. Soto's not gonna let you walk out. You'll get kicked. No more academy, no more dream job. Better that than losing my sister and brother to whatever the hell is happening. He's about to argue when the overhead lights flicker, followed by a low hum rolling through the building. Everything goes quiet. The screens cut out entirely now. No images, no static, just black. Someone behind me breathes. What in the world? The hush in the hall is suffocating. Then the entire phone network crashes. I feel it through the abrupt absence of signal bars, the wave of confusion. Suddenly, no one's phone works. Captain Soto tries to restore order, but the panic is creeping in. People are shouting about their families, about the citywide chaos, about rumors of an infection or mutation. It's all rumor, but it's all we have. My heart pounds. One thought repeats in my head like a drumbeat. I have to find April and Kevin. I peel out of the academy lot, heart hammering. My brain is racing through worst-case scenarios. Could this be a politically motivated attack? A new virus that went airborne? Maybe the mention of an invasive organism is literal, some mutated fungus or insect that's infecting humans. None of this makes sense yet, but the emergency alerts were very clear. Something is out there and it's dangerous enough for a citywide shutdown. The plan, first go check on Kevin. He's only a short drive away in Westwood, staying in a dorm-style arrangement with his high school's advanced study program. After that, we can head down to Lakewood to find April. Then we'll hunker down somewhere safe, our old family home maybe. or wherever we can. I just have to keep them from getting infected or attacked, or whatever is happening. My phone pings unexpectedly, a short beep. I glance at the screen. One new text from April saying, "Adam, WTF is going on? People at my bus stop are freaking out. Some are sick. They said there's an outbreak or something. I'm headed back to my place. Please call me." My hands tighten on the steering wheel. The text came in 4 minutes ago, but I still have no signal to reply. At least she's okay for now. She's aware something is happening. That's better than nothing. Traffic is sparser than usual on the highway, but the few cars I see are driving recklessly fast, weaving through lanes. Maybe they're also panicked. After all, no official direction beyond "stay inside" and "do not leave your homes" is fueling confusion. The giant Caltrans signs overhead flash a red message: "Stay home." Repeat, "Stay home." Highway closures possible. I pass under it, exhaling a shaky breath. If I can just reach Kevin before the roads shut down entirely, we'll have a chance. Static crackles through my radio, then a garbled voice. "LAPD, all available units, city in state of emergency, potential contamination. Do not engage infected without protective gear." It cuts off again. I grip the steering wheel, scanning the horizon. The tall buildings that mark downtown LA loom to the southeast. Thick smudges of something swirl around them, like storm clouds with a darker hue. It could be smoke, or it could be something else entirely. I have to make a call, keep going or turn around. My gut clenches. Kevin, he's waiting for me, or at least I hope he is. I inch forward a little more until I see them, at the edge of the overpass. Men and women in pale uniforms, almost hazmat-style suits, but not quite. They're moving from car to car, peering in windows. Something about them is off. Their movements are too stiff, almost mechanical. Then I realize they're forcibly removing people from cars. One of the men stumbles out of his sedan, crying out. The pale-suited figure holds him, the two locked in a brutal struggle, and then the man goes limp. It looks like his skin is sagging or changing. My stomach flips. An invasive species, infecting and altering human DNA. Is that what this is? I can't breathe. My foot slams on the gas and I jump the median. My tires squeal as I race back in the opposite direction. Better a longer route than an impossible one. My thoughts swirl disjointed. I had pictured some virus or spore, not a group of pale-suited figures forcibly infecting people. Are they even human? My heart hammers, and I think of the emergency alerts. Do not leave your homes. Maybe if you remain indoors, they can't get you. But if that's true, I just blew right past that directive. And I'm not turning back now. I have to save my siblings. I weave through side roads, reorienting toward Westwood. My phone vibrates suddenly. A flicker of signal. I grab it quickly at a stop sign. My brother Kevin has written, "Bro, I'm at the school dorm, but everyone's panicking. Some kids got sick. They quarantined them in the gym. We can't leave our rooms. Are you okay? Where are you?" Relief floods me. Kevin's alive. He's aware of what's happening. I try to dial him, but it fails. I text him, "I'm on my way, stay put. Lock your doors, don't let anyone in. I'll be there soon." I push forward, weaving between parked cars. The smell in the air has worsened, almost like rotten eggs. There are no official instructions playing on the radio anymore, just static and occasional bursts of that female voice repeating, spreading faster, N23 strain public, remain indoors. The rest is garbled beyond recognition. I make it to the edges of Westwood, near UCLA. The campus roads are half deserted, half choked with abandoned vehicles. People in hospital scrubs sprint past me, carrying medical bags, their faces panicked. I see a policeman standing at an intersection, waving cars away from a barricade. I pull over, roll down my window and shout, "Officer, I need to get to the high school dorms, my brother's there." He shakes his head fiercely. "No, this area's under quarantine. Turn around and go home. There's an airborne pathogen in some spots. It's not safe." I swallow hard. "I can't. He's in danger." The officer steps closer, glancing around. He's wearing a protective mask and gloves. Look, I get it, man, but the city's in chaos. We're trying to contain the infected. The high school, he stops, looks to his right. I follow his gaze and see a horrifying sight. Someone shuffles around the corner of a building, skin blotched with black veins. They're moaning, arms twitching at unnatural angles. Then they break into a run, heading straight for the officer. Damn it, the cop snarls. Get out of here. He raises his weapon, fires 2 shots. The infected person collapses, blackish red fluid leaking across the pavement. My stomach lurches. Infected, this is real. This isn't a rumor or a scare. Something is taking over human bodies, warping them. The cop shouts over his shoulder. They're all over near the high school. You can't get in. Then he lifts his walkie-talkie, calling for backup, voice tense. In my rear view, I see more shapes emerging, infected, walking in lurching patterns, some faster than others. My terror spikes. But I can't abandon Kevin. Maybe I can sneak around back. I drive deeper into the neighborhood, searching for an alternate route. The sidewalks are eerily empty except for scattered trash, and that blackish substance smearing the ground in places. 3 blocks later, I abandon my car when the road becomes impassable. Another barricade and more infected silhouettes ambling beyond. I park near a small grocery store, engine still running, heart pounding. The store's windows are shattered. No sign of life inside. I pop the trunk and rummage for something, anything I can use as a weapon or protective gear. There's a tire iron, some old jackets, a first aid kit. I grab the tire iron and slip the first aid kit strap across my shoulder, then lock the car. Adrenaline surges as I head on foot toward the high school dorms. The morning has grown bright enough that I can see the pale, sickly color in the sky, like a chemical haze. Every now and then, I hear distant screams or sirens or gunshots. Every now and then, a shape stumbles out of a doorway, moaning, or scuttles across the street with inhuman speed. Each time I freeze, ducking behind whatever cover I can find. The infected seem disoriented, like they don't fully understand their bodies. But they're strong, faster than you'd expect once they sense a target. I pass an alley where a woman stands with her back to me. She's trembling, arms twitching. I notice the dark veins on her neck. I hold my breath, hugging the wall, stepping quietly away. She doesn't turn, thank God. I push forward, the campus clock tower visible now above the rooftops. Just a few more blocks. A half-collapsed fence leads me into a small sports field behind the high school campus. The grass is patchy, marred by footprints and tire tracks, like people fled in a hurry. Overturned bleachers suggest some kind of stampede. The building looms ahead, 3 stories of brick and glass. The dorm windows are boarded from the inside on the first floor. It must be an improvised barrier. I see no one in the yard, but that doesn't mean they're not around. I cross the grass in a crouch, scanning left and right. The tire iron feels heavy in my grip. A whiff of that rotten egg odor wafts by, and I fight the urge to gag. At the back door, I knock softly. Kevin, my voice trembles. No answer. I try the handle, but it's locked. I knock again, harder. Kevin, it's Adam. Finally, a scuffling sound from inside. A voice hisses, who's there? Adam Reynolds. My brother's in there. Let me in. A minute passes, then the door cracks open. A wiry teenage boy peers out. He's wearing a medical mask, and his eyes are red-rimmed with fear. You alone? Yes. I'm just here for my brother, Kevin. My voice is shaking. I need to find him. The kid's eyes dart around. He opens the door further. I'm Toby. You better come in before they see you. He lets me pass into a dim stairwell that smells like sweat and disinfectant. 6 or 7 other teens are huddled on the steps, some coughing, some crying. One girl has a thick bandage around her arm. They look terrified. Toby shuts the door with a heavy latch and slides a table against it. We locked ourselves in here when the infection spread, he explains in a rushed whisper. Half the dorm left. The other half ended up in the gym. But I heard it's basically an infected zone now. My stomach clenches. Kevin said they quarantined 6 students in the gym. He's not infected, or is he? Toby shakes his head. Kevin's upstairs, I think. He told us you might come. You should hurry. I nod, gratitude surging. Thank you. I bound up the stairs 2 at a time. The second-floor hallway is dark, lights flickering, an emergency generator whining somewhere in the building. Most dorm room doors are closed, some barricaded from the inside, a few left ajar. I call out softly, Kevin. It's Adam. My voice echoes faintly. A door creaks at the far end. My brother steps out, tall, gangly, with messy brown hair. He's holding a baseball bat of all things. The relief on his face is immediate, and he almost collapses as I run to him. Adam, he says, voice trembling. Jesus, I thought you wouldn't make it. I pull him into a tight hug. I said I'd come, didn't I? My eyes sting with tears I refuse to fully shed. Are you okay? Sick at all? He shakes his head. No, just freaked out. They said something spreading, like a parasite or fungus or something that changes your DNA. Some kids got infected. I watched them transform. The paramedics took them to the gym. Then paramedics started changing. Someone locked the gym doors from the outside. I curse under my breath. Is anyone else here with you? Maybe half a dozen. Toby and some others. A lot of us left or got taken. I was worried about you. I hold him at arm's length. We gotta get out of here. April is in Lakewood. I need to see if she's safe. He nods vigorously. Yeah, let's go. But how? I glance out a small window at the end of the hall. The campus courtyard is crawling with movement. Gunfire pops in the distance. We'll have to be careful. Kevin grabs his backpack. You think your car's close? I hesitate, then nod. A few blocks away. We can do it if we stick to side streets. Our departure from the dorm is harrowing. Toby and a few other teens decide to stay. Their logic is that the building is still safer than being out there. I don't argue. There's no perfect answer. Toby just tells me to watch my back. And not to get infected. The best route is out the rear door we came in, across the sports field, then through the alley. We move slowly, my tire iron in hand, Kevin's bat in his. Whenever we hear moaning or see a silhouette, we duck behind cover, hearts pounding. Twice, infected individuals shuffle past us, their eyes glassy and black-veined. I hold my breath. If they notice us, it's over. But each time they continue on, like half-dead sleepwalkers. Just as we near the fence, I see a figure in pale gear step out of the shadows to our left. It's definitely not standard hazmat. The material looks organic somehow. The figure's face is covered in a translucent mask, and I can see black-veined skin beneath. My stomach churns. This is no human in protective gear. This is the organism, wearing a suit that looks grown rather than made. It cocks its head at us, movements jerky but disturbingly swift. Run, I whisper, pushing Kevin forward. The creature hisses, an awful clicking sound that sets my teeth on edge. It lunges. I swing the tire iron. It catches the thing's arm, knocking it back with a wet snap. The creature staggers but doesn't scream. Instead, that black fluid drips out, sizzling on the ground. My adrenaline spikes. Holy hell, it's acidic. The creature recovers, tries again, but Kevin whacks it with the bat, a direct hit to the head. It collapses. We don't stick around to see if it gets up again. We bolt, hearts thudding, slipping through the fence onto the street. In that moment, I realize two things. Firstly, the infection is part of some organism that physically transforms humans, turning them into these monstrous pale-suited husks. And secondly, we can fight them, but they're not normal. They're dangerously strong, and their biology is changed in ways we don't understand. We reach my Civic unscathed. Kevin climbs into the passenger seat, locking the doors immediately. I slide behind the wheel, panting. We gotta hurry to Lakewood, he nods. Yeah, but how? The highways must be chaos. I drum my fingers on the wheel. I'll try the back roads. We'll keep off the main thoroughfares. That might be safer. I glance at him. If anything happens, you do what you have to do, okay? He nods, his knuckles white on the bat. Got it. I start the engine. The car roars to life, blessedly normal. For a second, we both just breathe, the only normal sound in a world gone insane. Then we pull away from the curb, heading south. We navigate side streets, inching around debris, abandoned cars, even bodies. Some are obviously infected, some not. Twice, we see roving clusters of those pale-suited creatures searching vehicles. Each time, we kill the lights and duck down an alternate route. The entire city feels like a labyrinth of hidden danger. My phone flickers with a bar of signal once or twice, but any calls to April don't go through. Texts remain unsent. Kevin keeps checking the windows. There's more of that weird ash in the air, he murmurs, pointing to swirling gray specks. I wonder if it's spores. My stomach twists. What if they really are spores? The creature's acid-like blood. The black veins. This is something beyond a normal pandemic, some extraterrestrial or genetically engineered plague. I grip the wheel tighter, trying to focus on the next turn. We pass a large digital billboard that's stuck on an emergency alert loop in bright red letters. Emergency alert. Do not leave your homes. Remain indoors. Irony slams into me. We're doing the exact opposite. But staying put was never an option once I realized how quickly this was spreading. We push onward. The roads grow less congested the farther we get from the city center, but the sense of unease only deepens. The neighborhoods look deserted, shops boarded up, houses with windows taped or barred, cars left in driveways with doors ajar. Occasionally, a wild dog darts across the street or rummages through trash. Once, we pass a group of people crouched in front of a shuttered convenience store, wearing makeshift protective masks. They barely glance at us as we drive by. The day is warmer now, the sun a pale disk behind a yellowish haze. The clock on my dash reads 9:17 a.m., but it feels like we've lived a lifetime of terror already. Somewhere near Compton, a military convoy passes us in the opposite direction, 3 large trucks, a Humvee, and a transport. Soldiers in full protective gear wave us to pull over. I comply, rolling the window down a crack. A soldier with a gas mask steps up, voice muffled. Where you headed? My sister's place in Lakewood, I say. We're picking her up and going home. He glances at his colleagues. You shouldn't be out here. The city's under lockdown. There's an unknown pathogen. Highly contagious, I nod. I know, but we have no choice. Are they evacuating anywhere? We saw the emergency alert about staying home, but clearly not everyone can. He hesitates. Look, official guidance is to stay indoors, seal off your home. Wait for the National Guard. We have some safe zones in the works, camps near the outskirts. But it's in flux, Kevin leans over. So there's no stable evacuation site yet. The soldier just shakes his head. Not guaranteed. This thing is mutating faster than we can track. He looks to the horizon, voice grim. If you see infected, keep your distance. Even if they look normal at first. One scratch, one drop of that fluid in your bloodstream and you're done. Do you understand? My stomach clenches. Yeah. Thanks, officer. He waves us on. The convoy rumbles forward and we continue south, both of us silent. My mind spins with that new detail. One scratch, one drop is enough to infect. I keep scanning the rear view, half expecting an ambush at any corner. Around 10 o'clock a.m., we reach Lakewood. The once bustling suburban area is eerily quiet. April's apartment building is on a tree-lined street near a park. My hands are slick with sweat as I pull up. The complex is modest, 2 stories, a stucco exterior, a small lot out front with maybe a dozen cars. I kill the engine. Let's go, I say. Stay close. We slip out, carrying our makeshift weapons and the first aid kit. The front door of the complex is locked, but we have a spare key. I fumble with it, hearing my pulse thunder in my ears. The door swings open into a silent hallway. April's unit is on the 2nd floor. We tiptoe up the stairs, each step echoing. I see dark stains on the walls, splashes of something. My heart is hammering now. We reach her door. I knock softly. April, my voice trembles. No answer. I try the knob, but it's locked. I press my ear to the door. April, it's Adam. Open up, still silence. Kevin's face is pale, eyes wide. I jiggle the handle, frantic. She texted me this morning. She said she was coming back here. Maybe she left again, Kevin whispers. Don't say it, I swallow. We should check if we can get in from the outside window. Suddenly, a muffled voice from inside. Adam, my heart leaps. April. Yes, it's me. Let us in. We hear multiple locks click, then the door cracks open. My sister stands there, hair disheveled, eyes puffy as if she's been crying. She's wearing sweatpants and a tank top, holding a kitchen knife. The moment she sees us, relief washes over her, and she practically collapses into my arms. You're here, she breathes. I thought you might already be, she can't finish. We cling to each other, all three of us together for the first time in months, but under the worst possible circumstances. We shuffle into her apartment, quickly relocking the door behind us. Kevin and I set our weapons on the small dining table. The place is dim, curtains drawn, a single lamp flickering in the corner. April's living room is a mess of half-packed bags, water bottles, a small stockpile of canned food. Clearly, she tried to prepare for something. She sits on the couch, wiping tears from her eyes. I don't know what's happening. I left for work early, but then people at the bus stop started coughing and convulsing. I came back. I watched from my window as more got sick, then these weird suits took them away. I locked myself in. I nod, wrapping an arm around her shoulder. We've seen the suits too. They're infected, some kind of advanced stage. It's not just an illness, it's a parasite or organism. We've got to stick together. She glances at Kevin, who stands guard by the window. I tried calling you both, but the phone lines are dead. The TV is just an emergency broadcast loop. She nods at a small TV in the corner, which is indeed showing a bold text banner. Do not leave your homes. Stay indoors. Over and over, no additional info. Sometimes a glitchy voice repeats, emergency alert, and then cuts out. We can't stay here, I say softly. These apartments have no real fortifications. We need a safer location. April rubs her temples. Like where? The roads are insane. People are dying out there, I know. My mind whirls. But the official orders say to stay home if you can. We also heard rumors of safe zones. Maybe we can find one, she sighs. Is there anywhere we can go that's actually safe? I think about our old family home in Tustin, about an hour south. It's been empty since our parents died, but I still have the deed in my name. We never sold it. Maybe that's our best bet, familiar territory, a suburban house with a backyard and an attic, more space to barricade if needed. I meet her gaze. We could try Mom and Dad's place. It's not guaranteed to be any safer, but at least it's a house we know. It has a fence, a yard, and upstairs. We can hole up there, wait for the National Guard or someone. April's eyes fill with tears again. Memories of our parents swirl between us. They died on the highway to that house, I know. But it's still ours. It might buy us time. I look at her, then at Kevin. I'll do whatever it takes to keep you both safe. Kevin nods. April hesitates, then nods too, wiping her cheeks. All right. Let's go. We give April a moment to collect her things. She's already half-packed. She throws the essentials into a larger backpack. Clothes, toiletries, water bottles, canned food. She also grabs a small photo from the nightstand of our parents, smiling at some long-ago 4th of July party. My chest tightens when I see it. She tucks it carefully into an inner pocket. I move to the window, lifting a corner of the curtain. Outside, the parking lot is still. My Civic remains, battered but functional. I think we can make it to the car if we hurry. April emerges from her room wearing a light jacket. She's armed with a baseball bat, Kevin's old T-ball, one she found in a closet. Let's do it. We unlock the door, stepping out into the silent hallway. Our footsteps echo. The place feels like a tomb. We reach the stairwell without incident, descending carefully, trying not to make noise. Halfway down, the building's front door bangs open. Instantly, we freeze. I peer over the railing. Oh God, no. A figure stands in the lobby. At first, I think it's just a man in a dark coat, but then I see the black veins crawling across his neck, the twitch of his limbs. Infected. He tilts his head, sniffing the air, moving with an uncanny jerkiness. Kevin tightens his grip on the bat. April's breath trembles. Then another infected enters behind the first, her arms riddled with those veins, pupils dilated to black. They share a guttural grunt, scanning the hall. We flatten ourselves against the stairwell wall. We can't fight two at once, I think. And we can't sneak past easily. We're cornered on this staircase. I notice a side door leading to the laundry room. I whisper, "This way," gesturing with my chin. We tiptoe back up a few steps, slipping into that door. Kevin and April pass through, then I follow. The door squeaks. I close it quickly, but the infected must have heard. We catch a muffled snarl from the lobby. "Hide," I mouth. Inside the laundry room, it's dark except for a small window high on the wall. The washers and dryers line up like silent sentinels. We crouch behind a row of machines, listening as the infected approach. The door rattles. They know we're in here. My pulse skyrockets. The handle jiggles violently, but the door holds, locked from the inside. Then comes a heavy slam. The door's hinges squeal. Another slam. The metal starts to give. We have seconds before they break in. I glance around frantically. There's another door at the back of the laundry room, probably leading outside to the dumpsters. I scramble to test it, unlocked. I crack it open. A waft of that foul, acidic smell hits me. But it's better than certain death. "Let's go," I hiss, motioning to my siblings. They follow, hearts in their throats. We slip out behind the building. A narrow alley runs along the rear wall, leading to the parking lot. I hear more snarling and banging from inside, but for the moment, we're unchallenged out here. We sprint across cracked pavement, weaving past trash bins, rounding the corner to the parking lot. My Civic is just ahead, maybe 30 feet away. Relief surges. If we can reach it, we can get out of here. We start running in earnest. Suddenly, a shriek cuts through the air. We stop short. Another infected stands between us and the car, hunched over a collapsed figure on the ground. It looks up, black eyes brimming with hunger, face contorted. The person on the ground is lifeless, chest torn open with black fluid pooled around them. My stomach heaves, and April stifles a scream. The infected hisses, rising slowly. Then it lunges. I swing my tire iron with everything I have. The blow connects with a sickening crack, sending it sprawling. Kevin and April race for the car. I follow, panting as the infected scrambles back up unbelievably fast. It leaps at me again, nails raking my arm, tearing my sleeve. I feel a sharp sting. Adrenaline explodes in my veins. "Adam," April screams. I slam the tire iron into its face once, then twice, until it stops moving. My heart hammers. My arm burns. It scratched me. It really scratched me. Panic flushes through me. I can't see blood, but my shirt is ripped. I press a hand against my forearm. No open wound, just a shallow scratch. Is that enough to infect me? My mind spins with fear. But I don't have time to dwell. We have to go. I tumble into the driver's seat as April and Kevin jump in. The engine starts. We peel out of the lot, leaving the infected's body behind. We're on the road again, heading south. My breathing is ragged, and the scratch on my arm throbs like a brand. In the rearview mirror, I see April's concerned gaze. "Are you okay?" she asks, voice shaking. I force a nod. "I think so. It's shallow, but inside terror coils. One drop is enough. Is that scratch enough to do it? If so, how fast does the infection spread?" Kevin swallows, eyes fixed on the road ahead. "We'll watch it. If you start changing, we'll figure something out." My voice drops. We might not have that luxury. No one speaks for a moment. Outside, the suburban streets pass in a blur of chaos. Wrecked cars, boarded houses, a few infected wandering aimlessly. We pass a city sign, Tustin 18 miles. My heart clenches. 18 miles might feel like 1,000 right now. As we drive, I keep checking my scratch. The skin is red, stinging, but no black veins appear. No weird lumps or fluid. So far, so good. April tears a clean strip of cloth from her bag and disinfects the scratch with a small bottle of rubbing alcohol. It burns like hell, but if it kills anything lingering, I'll endure. We settle into a tense silence, scanning for threats. The roads are sporadically blocked by wrecks or military checkpoints. Each checkpoint is manned by exhausted-looking soldiers who wave us through after a cursory glance. They're not well organized. This crisis is too widespread, too sudden. Overhead, a few helicopters crisscross the sky, broadcasting demands to remain indoors and report any infected. The city stands on the brink of total collapse. I try not to think about how many are already lost. Instead, I focus on driving. On the next turn, on breathing in and out. We pass an overpass littered with burned-out vehicles. Some are still smoking. The stench of scorched metal seeps into the car. Kevin runs a shaky hand through his hair. You think Mom and Dad's old place is still intact. April tries to smile. Probably. It's just been empty, right? We never visited after the funeral. I grit my teeth. We'll find out soon. Then we'll board it up, stay safe, and try to wait for help, if help ever comes. The unspoken words hang in the air. Our old house is on a cul-de-sac. It's a 2-story with a small front porch, white siding, and a garage. I cut the engine at the curb. The place looks the same as it did 5 years ago, just more worn. The lawn is overgrown, the paint peeling, windows dusty. A heavy wave of memories hits me. Christmas mornings, backyard barbecues, the day our parents left for that final drive and never came back. April wipes her eyes and Kevin stands stiffly, shoulders tense. Let's get inside, I say softly. We approach with weapons in hand, just in case. The front door is locked, but I still have the key. My heart thuds as we step into the foyer. Dust motes swirl in the stale air. Furniture remains where it once was, covered by sheets. It's like a time capsule, a snapshot of the life we lost. I lock and bolt the door behind us. Kevin checks the windows, April heads upstairs. We search room to room. Everything is empty. For now, it's safe. We gather in the living room, peeling sheets off the couches so we can sit. The silence is thick with old ghosts. Is this the plan then? April asks. We stay here. For now, I reply, glancing at each sibling. We can barricade the doors and windows, stock supplies, keep watch. Maybe the National Guard will get control soon, or maybe they'll set up a real quarantine. We just have to survive until then. Kevin looks uncertain. What if they never do? I swallow hard. Then we'll figure out something else. But first, let's make sure we can defend this place. We spend the next few hours methodically fortifying. We push heavy furniture against the doors and windows. We gather tools from the garage, nails, boards, a hammer. It's exhausting, but we work together. The repetitiveness of hammering and hauling at least distracts me from the horrors outside. Kevin tries the radio we found in a closet. Mostly static. Then a single station cuts in and out, a panicked reporter. National Guard struggling, infection rate climbing, organism seems to adapt to different hosts, morphological changes observed. Do not attempt, I repeat, do not attempt close contact with infected. Then static again. We exchange grim looks. So the official story is that this organism is rapidly mutating, easily passing from host to host, and no one has found a way to stop it. My mind flashes to the soldier's warning about a single scratch. I glance at the bandage on my arm. Still no sign of black veins. I exhale relief. We continue listening, but nothing else comes through. I wonder if the entire region is slowly sinking into silence. We can hear faint sirens in the distance, maybe gunfire, but it's far away for now. Night falls quickly. April volunteers to take first watch with me while Kevin tries to sleep on the couch. He's exhausted, physically and emotionally. April and I sit in the living room, lights off except for a small lantern near our feet. We speak in hushed tones. She asks about my training, about the academy. I shrug. I might be expelled for running off. Then again, who knows if the academy's even functioning now? She nods, gazing at the boarded window. Mom and Dad would be proud of you, though. You always wanted to help people. You're basically doing that right now, saving us. A lump forms in my throat. I couldn't lose you guys. I promised them I'd look out for you. She reaches over and squeezes my hand. We lapse into silence. Outside, the wind moans through the eaves. I keep the tire iron close. April keeps the bat. I remind myself that we're safe behind thick walls. But for how long? Hours pass. Kevin snores softly on the couch. Occasionally, we hear distant shrieks or a scraping sound. Each time, we tense, hearts pounding, but nothing materializes outside our door. Eventually, we switch shifts. I try to rest while April stands guard, but sleep won't come. My mind replays the carnage we witnessed. The infected's black eyes, the soldier's warnings, that half-devoured body in the parking lot. And the ominous possibility that we're alone here, no rescue coming. Still, I must drift off at some point, because when I open my eyes, early morning light seeps through the cracks. A new day. Another chance to survive. 3 days pass in a tense hush. We see no infected on our street, but occasionally hear gunfire in the distance. We ration our food carefully. Our conversations are minimal, dominated by worry and exhaustion. The emergency broadcast still loops on the small TV whenever the power flickers on, repeating, "Emergency alert. Do not leave your homes." No mention of cures or help. No mention of hope. On the 4th night, I wake to a strange sound, something like scraping against the exterior wall. My heart seizes. I sit up in the living room, grabbing the tire iron. Kevin sleeps across from me in an armchair, stirring at the noise. April's in the upstairs bedroom. The scraping continues, slow and deliberate. I creep to the window, peering through a small gap in the boards. I see a shape outside, tall and thin. My blood runs cold. It's one of the pale-suited beings. It's rummaging near the front porch, elongated limbs moving in unnatural angles. That faint acid smell drifts through the cracks. I wave silently to Kevin, who jolts awake. We watch as the creature extends a spindly arm, pressing something like a tendril against our front door. The wood hisses, blackening around the contact point. I can't believe it. It's trying to melt its way in. My mouth goes dry. We can't let it get inside. I motion to Kevin, and we both move quietly for the door, weapons ready. On a whisper I say, "We hit it from both sides. Try to knock it back." Then we keep the door shut. He nods, fear in his eyes but determination too. I unlock the deadbolt carefully, fling the door open in a burst of motion. The creature recoils, letting out a hiss that rattles in my bones. Kevin swings the bat, catching it across the chest. The creature staggers off the porch with an otherworldly shriek. A rank smell hits my nostrils. I leap forward, tire iron raised, smashing it down on what passes for its shoulder. The suit tears, releasing black fluid that sizzles on the porch steps. Kevin shouts, "Look out," as the creature whips a tendril at me. I barely dodge. The acid-like fluid splatters, burning a hole in the wooden railing. My heart thunders. This thing is strong. We strike again, driving it away from the door. It stumbles across the lawn, then collapses, trembling. The fluid seeps into the grass, leaving a patch of scorched earth. Kevin and I pant, staying at a distance. We watch as it writhes once more and then stills. A wave of revulsion washes over me. This was once a person, presumably. Now, it's an alien horror, destroyed on the lawn of my childhood home. We rush back inside, slamming the door. April bounds down the stairs in panic. What happened? We explain breathlessly. There might be more coming. We brace ourselves for an onslaught, adrenaline pumping, but nothing else appears. In the morning, we find black scorch marks left behind where the creature's body burned into the lawn. The remains look half dissolved, just a faint shape of twisted flesh. Flies buzz around it, but even they keep their distance. We bury the scraps in a shallow pit out back, wearing gloves and masks. Hopefully, it won't contaminate the entire property. That same day, we see an aircraft overhead, some kind of large cargo plane. It moves slowly, releasing a white vapor that drifts down. We watch through cracks in the boards, hearts pounding. "What is that?" April murmurs. "Could it be a chemical to kill the organisms?" Kevin shakes his head. "Or they're trying to slow the spread." We see the vapor dissipate across the neighborhood. It has a faint chlorine smell. Then it's gone. No immediate reaction from the environment. We keep the windows shut just in case. On the 8th evening, a violent storm rolls in. Lightning flickers over the horizon. Thunder rattles the windows. Rain pours down, a rare Southern California deluge. We place buckets outside, hoping to catch fresh water. The wind howls and the boards on our windows groan. I feel an electric tension in the air that has nothing to do with the weather. Almost like the infection itself is stirring. Kevin is on watch near the front door. April is in the kitchen rummaging for anything to cook over the camping stove. I'm upstairs, searching the old storage closet for blankets. Lightning illuminates the yard through a gap in the boarded window. For a split second, I see something in the cul-de-sac, many things. Dark figures standing in the downpour, motionless. Maybe 4 or 5 of them. Are they infected or pale suits, or maybe both? Lightning flashes again. They're closer, moving in unison. A chill slams through me. I race downstairs. Kevin, front door. We've got visitors. He peers through the peephole. Crap, there's at least 6 of them. Just standing in the street, looking at the house. April joins us, face pale. The thunder booms, drowning out any sound from outside. We stand in silence, hearts pounding, as another flash reveals the cluster of silhouettes now in our yard. They move as a coordinated group, stepping with that unnatural jerkiness. My mouth goes dry. Get ready, I whisper, gripping the tire iron. They might test our defenses. Sure enough, we hear a scraping along the outer walls, multiple points of contact. The creatures are methodically exploring the perimeter, searching for a way in. The boards rattle. A window cracks from an impact. Kevin and April brandish their weapons. My mind races for a plan. If they break through in multiple places, we're outnumbered. We can't fight them all at once. Maybe we can funnel them through one entrance. Lightning flickers, thunder shakes the house, and the creatures screech. It's a collective, high-pitched wail that cuts through the storm. My blood runs ice cold. Upstairs, I hiss to my siblings. If they breach, we hold the stairwell. It's a narrower choke point. They nod, and we dash to the second-floor landing. The house groans under the onslaught, each boarded window a potential weak spot. In the flickering candlelight, I see fear etched on both their faces. My own heart is pounding so loud, it's all I hear. We wait in tense silence, weapons raised. Then a crash from downstairs. Wood splinters. A door or window must have caved. April's voice quivers. They're in. A shape appears at the bottom of the staircase. A tall, pale-suited figure with elongated limbs, black veins pulsing beneath that translucent skin. Behind it, 2 more. Their eyes reflect the lightning like hungry predators. My grip tightens on the tire iron. One steps onto the first step. Another slinks around, searching for vantage. If they rush us all at once, I glance at Kevin and April. We silently agree, attack before they can group. I rush down 3 steps, swinging the tire iron with a roar. It connects with the nearest creature's skull, splitting it open in a splatter of black acid. It shrieks, collapsing. The one behind tries to lash out with a tendril. April hurls a wooden chair leg from above, striking it in the torso, momentarily staggering it. Kevin leaps forward, bat raised, delivering a crushing blow to its side. The creature reels, black fluid spraying the wall. The third leaps from behind, nearly grabbing April's ankle. She yanks back, slamming her bat into its face. Lightning flashes, thunder booms, and the entire house shakes as this desperate battle unfolds on the stairs. More creatures crowd the entry behind them, screeching in unison. My mind screams, we're outnumbered. We can't hold them all back. The acid from the creatures burns holes in the staircase carpet, scorching the wood. Another tries to claw at my leg, and I stomp down, crunching bone. It keeps writhing. Panic threatens to overtake me. We'll be overrun if we stay here. Retreat, I shout. We can't fight all of them. We scramble upstairs, slamming a door behind us, the master bedroom. We lock it and block it with a dresser. The hallway to the other rooms is also barricaded. For now, we're trapped but safer than being swarmed. We can hear them clawing and slithering outside, searching for a new entry point. The thunder roars as the storm intensifies. Rain pounds the roof like gunfire. We huddle, gasping for breath, minds racing. They're in the house. It's only a matter of time before they break through. Lightning illuminates the bedroom through cracks in the boarded window. The door rattles under heavy blows. Each strike is met with a horrible screech. We brace the dresser, leaning our weight against it. Kevin's eyes dart around. We can't stay here. They'll break through eventually. We need an exit, April gasps. The window. I stare at the window, quickly measuring in my head. It leads to a small ledge over the porch. From there, maybe we can climb down. But the yard is also swarming with them. Or is it? Hard to tell in this storm. Better to try that than die cornered. Okay, I say. We go out the window, we make a run for the car. Then we get the hell out of here. Kevin looks at me, teeth chattering with adrenaline. Cars out front. That yard is full of them. Are we sure? A loud splintering from the door cuts off debate. We scramble to the window. I pry off the boards with the tire iron, ignoring the downpour that sprays in. Wind whips rain into my face. Outside, the porch roof glistens with water. The yard is dark, but I see shapes moving, maybe 2 or 3 creatures prowling. April steels herself. We have no choice. I nod, follow my lead. I climb onto the sill, then carefully drop onto the porch roof. Water drenches me immediately, but adrenaline propels me forward. The roof is slick. I inch toward the edge. April comes next, then Kevin. Lightning flares again, revealing one pale-suited figure right below us, near the front steps. It sees us and screeches. We have seconds. I help April and Kevin dangle from the roof, then drop. They land hard, but they're on their feet. The creature surges forward. I jump, landing awkwardly. My ankle twists, pain shooting up my leg, but I keep moving. Kevin swings his bat, forcing the creature back. We sprint around the side of the house, slip through the gate. Another screech from behind, then more from the front yard. We reach the street. The Civic is parked across from the house. More of them appear, silhouettes in the rain closing in. My heart is in my throat as we dash for the car. We reach the Civic, fumbling for keys. I manage to unlock it and we tumble in, breath ragged. The creature's close in on all sides. I slam the door, jam the key in the ignition. The engine whines once, twice, come on now. It roars to life on the third try. I floor the gas, lurching forward. The pale suits shriek as we swerve around them. One tries to leap on the hood. I jerk the wheel, throwing it off. Black fluid streaks across the windshield. The wipers smear it, but the acid pits the glass. I can barely see. We tear out of the cul-de-sac, the storm raging overhead. In the rearview mirror, I see a cluster of them, half on the lawn, half chasing after us. Then they fade into the darkness. No one speaks as I drive aimlessly through the flooded streets of Tustin. My ankle throbs, but the pain is nothing compared to the heartbreak of leaving our home behind. We only just got there, only just barricaded ourselves, and it's already overrun. I can't help but wonder if anywhere is safe. Lightning cracks the sky. April's voice trembles in the darkness. Now what do we do? Kevin's eyes glisten with tears he refuses to shed. We have no home to go back to. We can't keep running forever. I focus on the road, knuckles white on the wheel. I have no idea, I think. But I have to say something. We head east, I manage at last, recalling the soldiers' mention of potential safe zones near the outskirts. Maybe the desert areas are less infested. Fewer people out there. Maybe we can find a refuge or a military camp. April sniffles, nodding. Better than nothing. None of us mention the unspoken reality. We might never see that house again. Might never see a normal life again. We drive through the night, the storm eventually waning to a steady drizzle. My eyes burn from exhaustion, but adrenaline keeps me going. We pass through small towns, some abandoned, some on fire. Once, we see a National Guard checkpoint in flames, no survivors in sight. We keep going. Near midnight, the moon breaks through the clouds, pale and ghostly. I pull over at a gas station by an empty highway. We're nearly out of fuel. The station is dark, no power. I sigh, stepping out into the drizzle with a flashlight. Maybe they have a backup generator or some old manual pump. April and Kevin stay in the car, scanning for threats. I creep around the station building, heart pounding. A door is ajar. Inside, the shelves are half empty and looted. Then I spot a generator in the back room. It's silent. I fiddle with it, try to start it. Still no luck. Maybe it's out of gas itself. I search more carefully, stepping over spilled chips and broken glass. A half-eaten corpse lies by the counter, black stains across the tile. I gag, pushing past it. I find a manual pump in a storage closet, an old contraption for siphoning gas. My heartbeat lifts. This might work. Outside, I open the underground tank's access hatch, wedge the siphon in. After a few tries, I manage a slow trickle of gasoline into a plastic jug. I glance around nervously. The highway is silent. The stars overhead glimmer faintly. The car is parked a few yards away, April at the window, watchful. At last, I gather maybe 5 gallons. Enough to get us farther east, at least. I lug the jug to the Civic, carefully fill the tank. A slight splatter hits my foot and I wince, but no big deal. We can at least keep driving. We set off again, merging onto the highway that leads toward the Inland Empire and beyond. The darkness stretches infinite. My eyes flick to the rearview. Kevin dozes fitfully. April stares out the side window, lost in thought. It feels like we're the last humans alive. Dawn finds us on a remote stretch of road near the edge of the Mojave. The landscape is scrubby desert, scattered brush, and distant rock formations. The wind blows grit across the asphalt. We haven't seen a single infected out here, nor any sign of the pale suits. Maybe it's too barren for them. Or maybe we're just lucky so far. We stop at a dilapidated rest area, just a few picnic tables and a rundown bathroom. I park behind a rusted dumpster, hoping to keep the car hidden from the road. We step out, stretching our cramped limbs. The air is dry, less of that foul smell. For a moment, I almost feel hope. We rummage for something to eat, a couple energy bars and half a bottle of water each. We're running low on supplies. April checks the radio again, static. Then a faint message. Evacuation site in Barstow, coordinates, approach with caution. It's too distorted to catch the exact coordinates, but the mention of Barstow is enough. We exchange glances. Barstow is about an hour northeast. Could there really be an evacuation site? Let's try, I say. It's our best lead. Kevin rubs his face. What if it's overrun like the rest? April shrugs. Or it could be our only chance. We agree to head there. Before leaving, I check the rest area bathrooms for any leftover water. No luck. The place is trashed, graffiti and broken sinks. As I exit, a movement in the corner startles me. A scorpion scuttles away. Harmless enough. At least it's not an infected scorpion, I think wryly, though the notion makes my skin crawl. We pile back into the car and set off, the desert wind whistling around us. Each mile feels like stepping further into an alien land. But maybe that's good. Maybe we'll find safety here, away from the city's plague. As we approach Barstow, we see signs of a makeshift military presence. Tents and vehicles dot a wide area near the interstate. Barbed wire fences ring the perimeter, with a large gate at the entrance. Soldiers patrol with rifles, wearing heavy-duty gas masks and armor. My heart flutters with both relief and apprehension. A real evacuation site. We inch toward it, following battered road signs that read Evacuation Center ahead. We stop at the gate. A soldier signals for us to roll down the window. Another stands by, weapon at the ready. State your purpose, the lead soldier demands. His voice is muffled behind the mask. I raise my hands on the steering wheel. We heard a broadcast about an evacuation site here. We're not infected. He eyes us warily. Show me your arms, neck, anywhere the infection might show up. We comply, lifting sleeves and pulling down collars. I hesitate at my old scratch, but it's fully scabbed, no black veins. The soldier grunts, apparently satisfied. You'll need to go through medical screening. If you pass, you can enter the camp. He waves us in, stepping aside. We drive slowly through the checkpoint, glimpsing other vehicles lined up, a few battered RVs, some families huddled in corners. The area is ringed by floodlights and watchtowers. Tents sprawl across an old fairground. In the distance, I see a quarantine zone marked with red tape. A group of medics tends to a row of cots, some occupied by moaning patients. Fear clutches my chest. This might be better than wandering alone, but it's still no paradise. We're directed to a large canvas screening area. A harried nurse in full protective gear gestures for us to step out. We follow instructions, hearts pounding. They question us, check our vitals, examine us for any sign of infection. My scratch is thoroughly inspected. The nurse scowls, but after careful scanning, she says, "No sign of infiltration. You're clean." Relief sweeps me. We're escorted deeper into the camp, where we receive a small ID tag each and a directive. Stay within the safe zone. Curfew at 7 p.m. No one leaves after dark, understood? We nod. For now, we have a semblance of safety. It's more than we've had for days. But who knows what the future holds? That's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed the video, subscribing to my channel would help me out more than you can imagine. I appreciate you, and let me know if you would like to see a part 2.